Today we're covering Chapter 9, Review. Number 1 says, the circle graph shows the results of the schedules of 450 high school students. Out of these 450 students, how many more of them are scheduled to take French than Latin? Well, there are 20 taking French and 18 taking Latin. So first we want to subtract 20 minus 18 and we get 2%. And then we want to find 2% of 450. So 450 times 0.02, because you have to move the decimal 2 spaces. And then there are 2 spaces in the problem, so I need to move it over 2 for my answer. That makes 9. 9 students. Question number 2. Maggie surveyed 30 people to find out their favorite types of sports. The results are shown in her bar graph. Based on the information in the graph, which types of sports were chosen by 30% of the people? Well, the first thing we want to do is find 30% of 30 people. So 30, we move the decimal 2 spaces, so that would be 0.3, because I'm going to drop the last 0. And then we had 1 decimal space in the problem, so I need 1 in the answer. That is 9. So I'm looking for which 2 of these would add up to be 9. Well, if I'm looking at soccer, soccer is 9 all by itself, plus hockey is 2, and 9 plus 2 makes 11, so that's not 9. And then tennis is 5, and baseball is 7. 5 plus 7 makes 12, not our number. Hockey is 2, and baseball was 7. 2 plus 7 make 9. That might be it. Soccer, again, was 9, plus basketball is 7. 9 plus 7 makes 16. So the 2 that added up to be 9 were hockey and baseball. Number 3. The dot plot shows the number of hours Stan worked each week for the last 3 months. What fraction of the total number of weeks did Stan work 15 or more hours? So this would be 15, and more would mean everything bigger than 15. That's 5 dots. And it says fraction of the total, so then how many dots are there total? 12. So the fraction is 5/12. Number 4. The table shows the results of Luz's survey of 40 people about their favorite kind of movie. If Luz was to survey 200 people, how many would you predict would name comedy as their favorite kind of movie? So far, 15 out of the 40 have chosen it, and we want to set up a proportion to predict for 200. Well, I can't do something to 40 to make it to 200. I can't multiply or divide it by something to get 200, but I can simplify. Both of those numbers can be divided by 5. 15 divided by 5 makes 3. 40 divided by 5 makes 8. Now, could I do something to 8 to get to 200? I don't think so, so I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. 3 times 200 makes 600. And 8 times some unknown would be 8 times n. And then we need to divide both sides by 8 so I can get the n by himself. What is 600 divided by 8? $75. So 75 people would pick comedy. Number 5. Which data display is appropriate for showing frequency of data divided into equal intervals? Which one of those options divides things into intervals? Well, it's not a circle graph because that doesn't divide things into intervals. A histogram is like the bar graph, but it divides into intervals. Like 1 through 5 would be one bar, and 6 through 10 might be the next one, and then 11 through 15. It would be a bar graph, but with intervals. Number 6, which display is appropriate for showing change over a period of time? Change over time is a line graph. And number 7 says which display is appropriate for showing frequency of data with a number line. No, it's not a line graph just because they have the same word in them. But what is it that has a number line and shows frequency of the different numbers? That would be the dot plot. And which data display is appropriate for comparing parts of the data to the whole? Anything that compares the parts to the whole, like divides it up into percents, that would be the circle graph. And the last question. Answer the question below by writing 2 or 3 complete sentences in the space provided. What would be an appropriate display for showing percents of teachers who have 2, 4, 6, or more years of college degrees? Explain your reasoning. Well, we just talked about percents or parts to whole. That would be a circle graph. So let's just write about that. The appropriate display would be a circle graph. Circle graphs compare parts of the data to the whole, which is a percent. All you had to do is tell which one would be appropriate and really kind of the definition, what the circle graph's for.